Hello everyone. We truly appreciate your presence with us today. We have a captivating tale to unfold for you. So let's begin. My name is Marcus, and this is the tale of how a single joke unraveled the fabric of my marriage. I was once united with Vanessa, a woman I believed I would share eternity with from the very start. We both felt a deep connection to the idea of having children, even before our engagement. We would spend countless hours dreaming about our future together, envisioning the number of kids we would raise, their names, and the traits they might inherit. The thought of a lively family, filled with the sounds of laughter around a bustling dinner table and the joyful chaos of playrooms overflowing with toys, brought warmth to my heart. I could already picture myself guiding my son as he learned to ride a bike or sharing tender moments reading bedtime stories to my daughter. Vanessa shared this love for children, too. Her voice danced with enthusiasm as she spoke of them. She would share videos of adorable toddlers, her eyes sparkling with dreams of our future together. When the day of our marriage arrived, we felt an irresistible urge to embrace what lay ahead without delay. For years, we shared our dreams of the family we longed to create. So, the moment we exchanged our vows, we eagerly embarked on the journey of trying for a baby. Each month brought a thrill, a sense of renewal, and the promise of new beginnings. We transformed it into a delightful game, playfully speculating whether our first would be a boy or a girl. Vanessa would bring home baby name books, and we would sit together, lost in dreams of what our child might look like, pondering whose features they would inherit and the kind of parents we would become. Yet, as the months slipped by, our hopes remained unfulfilled. Initially, we dismissed it, believing it was simply a matter of time. People often advise not to let it weigh on our minds. It will come when we least anticipate it. So we embraced a more laid-back mindset, reassuring ourselves that the moment would arrive in due time. Yet, as months transformed into a year and then two, the thrill began to wane. The playful banter we once shared shifted into a quiet yearning, evolving into an unspoken sense of disappointment. Each negative pregnancy test became increasingly difficult to overlook, and every passing month felt heavier than the last. By the dawn of the third year, doubt settled in, a palpable weight upon our hearts. We ceased our discussions about nursery plans, and the baby name books were tucked away, gathering dust. Vanessa tried to mask her worries, but I could see the flicker of concern in her eyes. Conversations about children that once brought her joy now seemed to cast a shadow, prompting her to change the subject or respond with a strained smile. We could no longer turn a blind eye to the truth. Something felt amiss. After 3 long years filled with anticipation, yearning, and the delicate dance of denial, we reached a moment of clarity and chose to seek answers. The tests were straightforward, just routine blood work and a few other assessments. We sat there, hearts racing, yearning for news that would bring relief, something minor that could be resolved. But when the doctor finally took a seat with us, his words landed heavily, a weight in the air. "Marcus, your sperm count is extremely low right now." It felt as though time stood still, the weight of his words hanging in the air. I sat there, a wave of disbelief washing over me, my heart racing with a mix of emotions. Vanessa was beside me, her gaze fixed ahead, both of us caught in a moment that felt too heavy to bear. She remained silent as the doctor spoke, outlining that I wasn't entirely infertile. There lingered a glimmer of hope, a small chance. He recommended boosters, a disciplined diet, and consistent exercise to enhance my fertility. Yet, all I could focus on was the one truth that weighed heavily on my heart. I couldn't provide Vanessa with the family we had envisioned. That night, I lay awake, gazing at the ceiling, feeling as though my entire world had crumbled. I felt like I had let her down as a husband. What kind of man couldn't even offer his wife a child? Vanessa reassured me, her words a soft balm, telling me she wasn't going anywhere. She took my hand and whispered that we would navigate this journey side by side. Yet, as time unfolded, her demeanor spoke volumes that contradicted her words. Conversations about babies became a delicate dance. She would shy away when friends shared their joyful news or displayed images of their little ones. The subject would shift abruptly, or she would quietly slip away. I understand the desire to avoid certain topics, but the real struggle lies in the lingering tension that follows. She harbors her frustrations for days, sometimes even weeks, allowing a subtle strain to weave its way between us. Initially, I believed she was simply trying to process her feelings, much like I was. But then the pointed remarks began to surface. I find myself lost in confusion, trying to comprehend it all. What could cause two vibrant individuals to face challenges in creating new life? In a moment that caught me off guard, she shook her head softly during dinner. Perhaps if we had begun our journey sooner, the outcome would have shifted. Those seemingly trivial remarks woven into our exchanges pierced my heart more profoundly with each passing moment. Initially, I was haunted by the fear of her departure. It lingered as a fleeting notion. Yet, as time unfolded, it morphed into a consuming worry, a shadow that nestled in the corners of my thoughts from the very beginning. I awakened to the essence of the moment. I surrendered to sleep, attempting to dismiss the thoughts swirling in my mind, telling myself I was merely overanalyzing. Yet, the signs were undeniable. Vanessa had changed in ways I could no longer overlook. She began returning home late, each time with a new excuse, dinner with friends or a need to clear her mind. At first, I accepted her words, but soon it turned into a familiar rhythm that I couldn't ignore. She began to linger outside, her presence fading at home. The sweet kisses goodnight and the gentle weight of her head on my chest became distant memories. Now, her gaze barely met mine. The warmth that once sparkled in her eyes had dimmed. One evening, I mustered the courage to ask, "Vanessa, are we okay?" She let out a soft sigh, her fingers gently massaging her forehead as if the weight of the conversation was too much to bear. "I don't know, Marcus," she murmured. "I find myself longing for a different reality, one that feels just out of reach. The weight of it all has been overwhelming." I poured my heart into every suggestion, embraced new routines, and sought to nurture our connection. Yet, despite my efforts, the distance between us only seemed to widen, and the quiet in our home became a haunting presence on those still nights. I would find myself in the living room, gazing at the photographs on the wall, the moments captured where joy radiated from our smiles, where hope still lingered. Now, the house felt like a stranger, devoid of warmth. It felt like a space suspended in time, where anticipation hung heavy in the air, and each time Vanessa spoke, I found myself tensing, aware that another piercing remark was on the horizon. It's disheartening to watch others progress while we remain in place. Perhaps we were never destined to share the journey of parenthood. She never raised her voice or directly pointed fingers, yet her words cut through me in ways that no confrontation ever could. I wished to think she was simply in pain, that this was her method of coping, but beneath it all I sensed something deeper. I sensed she was already on the brink of departure. Vanessa and I found ourselves at a cozy gathering at her friend's home one evening. It was a relaxed backyard affair, filled with familiar faces, soft music, and the gentle hum of conversations mingling with drinks. I wasn't particularly inclined to engage, yet Vanessa was in her element, sipping a bit more than usual and laughing with a brightness that filled the air. I leaned back, absorbing the warmth of the evening, when the topic shifted to children. A couple at the gathering had just shared their joyful news of pregnancy, and the group erupted in a chorus of excitement, offering heartfelt congratulations and sharing tender bits of parenting wisdom. It was a conversation I had learned to sidestep, yet the question was suddenly directed at us. "So when are you two finally blessing us with a little one to cherish?" The words danced lightly in the air, yet they carried a weight that lingered longer than expected. Vanessa's laughter flowed effortlessly, a moment of joy intertwined with an unspoken depth. Her voice carried through the room, drawing everyone's attention to Marcus. "Oh please, he lacks the strength to bring me to that point." A heavy silence enveloped the room as laughter faded. Conversations dwindled, and a few cast uneasy glances my way while others feigned ignorance. Yet, I felt it all, and there was no escaping the truth of the moment. I remained silent, choosing not to engage, not to question her actions or the embarrassment she brought upon me in front of others. We both understood the weight of the moment as I quietly stood and turned away. In that moment, I felt a sense of completion rather than anger. Upon returning home, I felt an emptiness that urged me to act. I walked directly to our bedroom, my heart heavy, and began to fill a duffel bag with only the essentials. Clothes, my wallet, toiletries. The destination was uncertain, but the decision was clear. I could not remain. After zipping the bag, I took a lingering glance at the space that had once embraced me, now transformed into a confining shell. I found solace in a hotel across town, silencing my phone for the first time in ages. In that moment, the weight of expectation lifted, leaving behind only a serene stillness, free from forced conversations. No more questioning each word that slipped from my lips, just a tranquil silence enveloping me. When I finally powered my phone back on the next morning, a wave of messages greeted me. Friends who had seen the events unfold reached out, checking in on my well-being and offering a listening ear. Then there were Vanessa's messages, one from the previous night inquiring about my whereabouts, and another from that morning. "Do my words cause you pain?" It was only the drink as I gazed at the screen, absorbing her words repeatedly. There was no hint of remorse, without a trace of regret. It was merely an excuse for my silence, and when she sensed my absence, she chose not to reach out again. A few days after my departure, Vanessa finally discovered the letter I had left on her dresser. It expressed my endurance through the turmoil, the arguments, the disregard. Yet, if my deepest anguish was merely a jest to her, then I knew I no longer belonged there. Her response indicated she had read my words, but I couldn't fathom the emotions that stirred within her. Perhaps she believed my departure was a fleeting moment of anger, a temporary retreat before I would return as if nothing had transpired. However, upon reading that letter, she must have grasped the gravity of my decision. Initially, I thought she had seen it and chosen to overlook it. The first day passed without a word, then the next until she began to reach out, calling, messaging, pleading for a meeting so we could finally converse. I remained silent, feeling as though my words had faded away. Yet her determination lingered, unwavering. The fervor of her calls and messages in the days that followed revealed her dawning realization that I had truly departed for good. Her messages flowed with increasing warmth, and her calls lingered in the air, unyielding. When I chose silence, she turned to our shared friends, seeking their help to sway me, to bring me back to her. Yet my heart had already made its choice, and I stood firm. A week later, her efforts culminated in the arrival of the divorce papers, a poignant conclusion to our story. I had reached a point where I would no longer engage in arguments, plead for understanding, or struggle against the tide. I was simply finished. There was no need for further explanations. After parting ways, I embraced a fresh start in a new city. Initially, it was a challenge to embrace solitude, to rediscover and reshape my essence from the very foundation. In time, I discovered a serene solace within myself, embracing the beauty of my own presence and releasing the burdens that had weighed me down for so long. Most importantly, I came to understand that my worth transcended the capacity to bear children. Then I encountered Hannah. She possessed a unique warmth, offering support and understanding in a way that felt deeply comforting. We savored each moment, and for the first time in years, I felt a deep sense of being cherished. A year into my relationship with Hannah, she invited me to sit down one evening, her expression a delicate mystery that stirred something deep within me. There was a depth in her eyes, a blend of excitement, nervousness, and perhaps a hint of fear. Then she whispered it to Marcus, "I'm pregnant." The instant her words filled the air, my thoughts raced to grasp the meaning behind them. Initially, a soft laugh escaped me, believing it to be a jest. Yet, as I noticed her stillness, her gaze fixed on me, the lightness faded, replaced by a swirl of uncertainty. I gazed at her, attempting to comprehend the reality of it. Expecting? In what way? That singular thought consumed my mind as I instinctively shook my head. Felt impossible. My voice emerged with an edge I hadn't meant to convey, yet it was beyond my control. In a moment that caught me off guard, Hannah shared the news of her pregnancy with me. My thoughts raced to the only conclusion that felt plausible in that moment. She must be unfaithful. I recall the way her expression shifted with pain when I leveled my accusation. She was clearly hurt, yet she chose not to raise her voice or shed tears. Instead, she spoke softly, assuring me that she had not been with anyone else. She was convinced that I was the father, completely certain, yet I couldn't bring myself to embrace that reality without hesitation. I had endured too much to simply accept something that felt so improbable. I urged for a paternity test, and Hannah responded without a moment's pause. She readily consented, assuring me that I could do anything necessary to find my calm. Yet, as we lingered in anticipation of the results, the heaviness of doubt enveloped me. If the test revealed what I dreaded, it would break me. But if, by some stroke of fortune, it showed I was the father, then what would follow? When the results finally arrived, a wave of emotion washed over me, and I felt as if my entire world had shifted. I was the father. I must have read those words a dozen times, yet they felt surreal. I sat there in disbelief, my hands clutching the paper tightly, trying to comprehend how this could even be true. The doctors had seemed so confident before. My sperm count had been disappointingly low, leaving my chances feeling almost non-existent. And yet, here was undeniable evidence that a shift had occurred. I found myself scheduling an appointment at a fertility clinic the very next day. I sought clarity, yearning to understand whether this was merely a fleeting miracle or if a profound transformation had taken root within me. The results validated what I had once deemed unimaginable. My fertility had blossomed in ways I had never imagined. Perhaps it was the dedication to my lifestyle choices, the gentle flow of time, or a mystery that eludes even the most knowledgeable minds. My body had achieved what I once believed was beyond its reach. I found myself in a place I never thought possible. The irony lingered in my thoughts. If only Vanessa, my ex-wife, had embraced patience. If she had clung to hope a little longer instead of allowing her frustration to create distance between us, we might have nurtured the family we once envisioned together. Yet, as I stood there gazing at Hannah, a profound sense of contentment washed over me, leaving no room for regrets. My previous marriage was woven with tension, unfulfilled hopes, and silent grievances. Yet with Hannah, everything felt transformed. She embraced me with a love that knew no bounds, free from any demands. In that moment, I discovered a profound sense of belonging, as if I had finally arrived at my destined place. The fate of my ex-wife, Vanessa, remains a mystery to me since our paths diverged. Our paths never crossed again, and perhaps she has embraced a new life, filled with love and laughter. Perhaps she felt a twinge of regret, or perhaps she found solace in the belief that her choices were justified. I can't say for certain, and honestly, it no longer holds my interest. Some moments are best left untouched. Some doors are destined to remain shut. I hold no resentment for what has been. Instead, I embrace a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to begin anew. I discovered a connection with someone who appreciates me for my true self, rather than for what I can offer or withhold. She remained by my side, offering unwavering support, free from veiled comments or the weight of inadequacy. In reflection, the clarity of those moments unfolds before me. Love transcends the moments of joy. It flourishes in the face of adversity. It's about the quiet strength found in patience and the gentle choice of kindness, even when frustration looms. Vanessa had the opportunity to stand by my side, to be my ally in the challenges we faced. Instead, she chose to wound me, and such actions leave an indelible mark. Words can linger long after they are spoken, and those uttered by someone you hold dear can pierce the heart most profoundly. If there's one thing I wish to share through my journey, it's the profound importance of patience and respect. When you genuinely care for someone, their struggles become a part of your shared journey. Frustration may arise, but it should never lead to belittling them, especially not in the presence of others. It's essential to protect the beauty of what you have, even when emotions run high. Ultimately, I find solace in how everything unfolded. as it led me to a love that embraces my true self. And that, dear friends, is the essence of my story. I hope you find something meaningful within it. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you found yourself in my shoes, how would you have responded? Do you believe Vanessa was worthy of another opportunity, or was leaving the only path forward? And if you know someone who could benefit from this, be sure to share it with them. Until we meet again, be gentle with yourself.